How could I be anything but happy? I mean, this is a dream come true and an honor to share the podium with two legends like Kobe and Kevin is the most unreal feeling. I mean, everyone knows that you have to go through in order to get to this point, and it just makes this moment feel so sweet, and I'm so happy. And to be here, to be an American, one of now only 5 Americans that have ever been on the podium is such an honor, and this is so cool.
Hi, everybody. Nate Ryan, senior motorsports reporter for NBC Sports, here to talk about the Dakar Rally and the World Rally Raid Championship with Skyler Howes, the 5th American ever to finish on the podium at Dakar. Skyler, thanks for joining us. I just want to start about, basking in the afterglow of this 3rd place finish that you just had at the 2023 Dakar Rally. I know you had a big celebration at your hometown in Utah. What's it been like, I guess, the last couple of weeks being back in America?
It's been pretty awesome. I mean, my girlfriend and a lot of my friends, they get through this celebration for me, which was really, really cool. So got to see a lot of people come out and show their love and support, which was awesome to see. And just the support and everything from everyone, I mean, in USA, in Utah, and around the world for this podium has been such a cool thing to see and something that's been awesome. But yeah, since we've been home, it's definitely no time to rest. It took me about a week to finally have the come down of adrenaline and get back on the sleep schedule. But it was straight back to training because we leave for the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge here pretty soon. So yeah, it's straight back to work. I mean, after a result like this too is something really cool and something I want to celebrate, but I think that's going to have to wait till like summertime.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, how long does it take to detox after spending a month in a foreign country, nonstop riding for 2 weeks through treacherous conditions? So about a week to sort of readjust.
Yeah, it's tough because you get into this like flow state almost. You get into this zone. You wake up at 2:30 in the morning. You're on the bike by 4 at the latest. You start the special as soon as the sun comes up. You're eating energy gels and protein bars all day and pasta and other types of stuff to keep going. And yeah, by the time you make it to like day 10, 11, 12, something like that, it almost starts like feeling like this is normal life and this is how things are supposed to go. And then as soon as you cross the finish line, it's almost like this huge, it's like this come down of adrenaline. And then the second you get back home and you can just sit on the couch for a second, it's a huge, it's crazy to think about because while you're racing, it's like, that's what you have to do. Like, it's just one day right after another. And then once you essentially can relax, it just is this huge, like, I don't know, like the sleep and everything else definitely want to kick in big time and you get super tired. And then the jet lag on top of it, it's a heavy toll.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And you've been through it before. This was your 5th Dakar. You started as a privateer, but now, as we see from your logos there, you've got the big Husqvarna factory ride. And did I see on your Instagram, did you spend some time at their headquarters in Austria as well to celebrate?
Yeah, they actually threw a big celebration for all of the workers there as well. So we got to actually ride through the factory while the workers took a break and got to sign autographs and kind of celebrate with them, and which is really nice because at the end of the day, like, what we are as factory racers is essentially so they got those people can have a job and build motorcycles. So to ride through and get to meet them face to face and for them to have a little bit more in-person experience was really, really cool because they normally just get to build the motorcycles and not necessarily see them race, or it's just on TV. So to be there in person and actually get to shake hands and see everyone was really, really awesome. They threw a really good celebration for us. It was a super cool experience.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously got to bring the famous mustache over to Austria headquarters as well. I saw that you also had on your socials that Husqvarna is doing some sort of Howstash challenge around the signature look you have.
Yeah, we got a giveaway. You can win one of my jerseys if you post a picture or a video or something with the best mustache. And I tell you, there are some good ones out there. There's one of them that I was dying laughing. He's drawn on a mustache. He goes all the way down to his ankles. is the funniest thing I've ever seen. So it's kind of a cool thing to, I don't know, keep the fun into the sport, you know?
Yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent. I'm glad you're able to have some fun while being so competitive. Well, like you said, like you're back in America, you're back in Utah after being in Saudi Arabia, being in Austria, and now we're speaking a few days before you leave to go the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge, which is part of the World Rally Raid Championship that I started with Dakar. Tell us a little bit about like the outlook for you this season. And I know it's not, I think it's like year 2 for the World Rally Raid Championship, like what it's about. And I would presume after your 3rd place at Dakar, you're positioned well for this year.
Yeah, it's kind of strange to think about because I've done a few Dakars now, but it's only my second world championship attempt, really. And so, well, I guess 2.5. I got to do half the season when I first signed with Husqvarna. So, but anyways, yeah, like it's only going to be my second time at Abu Dhabi, and I don't know. We just essentially raced kind of in the same desert at Dakar, so yeah, we kind of got like a pre-run of sorts. I mean, it was already 10 days into the race by the time we got there, but no, we'll be in the same desert, into the same dunes, and I really enjoy the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge to begin with, just because it's like a super crazy area there in the UAE. But for the whole championship, like coming off of Dakar, obviously, like we had really good results all of last year. I mean, started off rough, but towards the end of the year picked up, got a win in Morocco, and then obviously the podium at Dakar is huge. And so, yeah, the confidence is good, and we've been working really hard, my trainer and I, as far as fitness goes and getting the program. Because, like I said, you know, it's only I'm relatively new at this. It's only my first couple of years at doing the whole World Rally stuff, which is strange to think because now when you have younger guys come in, I'm almost looked at like a veteran now. But I'm relatively new, and considering what I had to do to get here, honestly, the last like 2 years have been rebuilding years. Like I had to rebuild my finances, I had to rebuild my health and my fitness. There's so much stuff that had to take a back seat in order to make it to the races in the first place. So these last couple of years have been rebuilding, and then now I'm like starting to feel like like I'm getting my head above water to where I can focus fully on myself and the training. So heading into the rest of the season, like Abu Dhabi specifically, and the rest of the season, the way I look at these races are more of preparation. Of course, to win the world championship would be a huge, accomplishment, some things like this, but it's a little bit different of an understanding than Dakar. Dakar is like literally have to be on 100% your game every day. Abu Dhabi is definitely no different because the dunes are very sketchy. I mean, there's a lot of dune cuts, some things that you can jump off of, and it gets a little bit scary out there. So you have to stay fully focused. But my idea going into these races is much more of like experience, preparation, doing things 100% properly, and focusing on the navigation, focusing on bettering myself rather than just pushing the maximum and trying to just literally race 100%. All of the world rounds are more or less like bettering myself as a racer and a person to benefit the Dakar in the next year.
Yeah. Is it fair to say, Skyler, that maybe these other World Rally Raid Championship races, they're not quite as grueling as Dakar? And I know you've had a lot of success, by the way, as well. I know Sonora, Mexico is coming up. You've won there. In Morocco, you've won there. So I know there's a lot you're looking forward to here. But like when you talk about Dakar sort of being next level, these are elite, but maybe not in that class?
Yeah, the world rounds, for one, are a quarter of the distance. So we're only racing for 5 days rather than 15. So that alone right there, just the sheer length and size of the event is a huge deal. I mean, Morocco can get pretty physically demanding and really intense. Same with, I mean, Abu Dhabi is basically just a full dunes race, which are really physically demanding. And then Sonora itself will have its fair share of challenges, especially now being a world round. I'm sure they're going to throw a lot more stuff at us than there was there in the past. So, and the dunes there are also really physically demanding. They're pretty relentless. So every single race has its unique challenges, but Dakar specifically, just the whole year rides on that one race. And so your result, the everything about it, the eyes that are on you, everything, there's so much more pressure and everything. So these world rounds are really important, and to gain, you know, good experience, life experience, race experience, everything else is, I think, the most important thing. Every time my helmet goes on and I swing my leg over the bike, I want to win. But the mentality is a little bit different because, you know, I focus more on the fine details at those races, make sure that I can fine tune the craft so it becomes second nature and I don't have to think about that stuff when I'm racing at Dakar.
Yeah, I appreciate hearing all about that process too, because I know, you know, when you talk about this, not just being competitive, but also a life event, like it was really interesting covering you from afar this year and hearing about how you sort of view riding. You seem to look at it differently. I don't know if you've ever heard the book Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, but that's what I think of like when I listen to your interviews. Is it seems like you have this approach that almost sets you like a breed apart from other rally raid riders. Is that a fair kind of look at it? Would you say, is there a prototypical style that maybe a rally rider, bike rider has to have? Does everyone have their own approach? And is yours maybe a little bit unique?
There is a funny saying that we kind of grew up racing in the desert. You have to be a certain kind of stupid to go fast, because any logical person would look at it as this is not a smart or logical decision to go this fast through the desert over terrain that you've never seen before. So there's that funny aspect to it. But I look at my mindset and the way I approach everything more in a experience, I guess, idea rather than a goal. Of course I want to win, and I have my bucket lists of things that I want to accomplish and all of that kind of stuff. But the experiences I've had so far in life, as far as struggles, successes, yada, 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 it has made me appreciate all of this so much more. So I look at every single day as an experience and what can I learn from it rather than an expectation. So some other people might expect to go in and get this certain result, or they expect this to happen. I think of it more as an experience. No matter what happens, I'm going to try my best. That's all you can do anyways. If you are unhappy with the result, there's probably something that you could have changed, but in that moment you made those decisions. Everyone wants to win, and in those moments you just make the decisions, and that's literally all you can do is do your best. And so I found in my mentality that it's much more fun to just experience the race for what it is, and go out there and give it my best, and that's all you can ask for yourself. And then, you know, at the end of the day, I want to look back and see all of these races and opportunities that I've got and be able to smile and say that I made the most of it. And it's kind of, you know, my past, I had to sell everything to get to this point in the first place because I didn't want to look back and say, what if I tried harder? And that's kind of the same exact way that I approach the race in general. Is I don't want to look back and be like, you know what, I probably could have won if I just tried a little bit harder. That's the joke I always tell it to everyone if they're upset that they didn't win. I'm like, well, you should have just gone faster. Like, so I don't know, I do kind of have that aspect of like, there is kind of a Zen part to it. Like if you make a mistake or if you do anything like that, like, yeah, well, it just is what it is. It's what happened today. And all you can do is just take that experience and put it towards the next day or the next race. And hopefully you do better. And like I said, at the end of the day, I want to look back and enjoy every single one of these processes, good or bad, and be able to take that into my daily life or into the next race and be able to learn and grow from it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that perspective. I think you said during the rally that struggles are what make you who you are as a person. And that's something I certainly agree with. Well, you've got an incredible backstory, and encourage everybody to check out. There's a story on NBCsports.com. You can read about everything that Skyler's been through. Time's almost up. Before I let you go, Skyler, I just want to talk to you a little about, you're part of this American Resurgence, I think. in rally raid riding. Ricky Brayback won the Dakar, became the first American to do that in 2020. Obviously, Mason Klein, you're a bit of a mentor to him, had a big showing, big breakthrough this year at Dakar. What do you think is the reason for the American riders resurgence that you've been a part of here?
I think the biggest thing was before Dakar was always just something that you saw on TV, and any American that's essentially got the opportunity, maybe not, farther back in the day, but just within the last 20 years, people that went to the Dakar were people that were on a factory team or sponsored already. And I don't think there was a lot of information, and there wasn't a lot of understanding that this wasn't just something that you saw on TV. This is something that you could go do. And I think when Ricky went, when Kurt Castelli went, that was a little bit more, I was like, okay, I know this person. This isn't just someone that I see on TV. And then when Ricky went, and I was like, oh man, Ricky could go. Like, Ricky still went as a factory racer, but I was like, I've raced against Ricky for a lot of years. Like, if he could do this, I think I could do it too. And, I got the opportunities to go. And I think what I found was the certain racing that we do in North America specifically, is very, you have your motocross, your off-road, and Baja racing and things like that. But rally racing is such a unique direction in the sport. It's such a cool little area in the sport. And I just gained this huge love for motorcycles as soon as I started doing it. And I think what I wanted to do more realistically is I saw how small the circle of rally people were, and I want to open that up because it's such a cool sport. It's so cool. If you like adventure, put a road book on your handlebars, and you're going to go places that you would have thought to go if you were just out there following a GPS or even just exploring. If you have like a road book and that someone gives you, and you might have turned on a trail that you never would have turned on before, and then you might see something really cool that you never would have seen before. And that aspect of motorcycle riding and being able to piece that road book together, which is so cool for me. And what I want out of any of this is to just grow the sport. I've fallen in love with the sport. It's given me such a new outlook and such a fun time on the motorcycle that I just want other people to experience it, whether they get to go to Dakar or race a rally or not. Whatever they want to do, if they can go and do it on their own and get some type of road book set up and go and do that, that's what I hope to gain. There's so many people that have access to go to a motocross track because that's what they know. But if they're interested in like the adventure side of things and they want to go out to the desert for 5-6 hours and see stuff that they've never seen before, I think this is the coolest thing. And so to kind of grow that aspect is the coolest thing. And there's a lot of other really talented riders here in the USA that I think could do well too if they just got the opportunity or got the I guess motivation to give it a try. And say, you brought up Mason. I would like to think, I opened some doors for him and put him on a path to where he could have some success. But from this point, like, I told him and I've made it clear, like, the choices that I made me who I am, and he's going to have to make some choices on his own as well to make him who he is. So that's kind of my goal, is just to open the door, get you set it on the right direction. I had to learn a lot of lessons the hard way. And if I can make it possible that you don't have to learn those lessons the hard way and you can maybe get a shot, that's awesome. And for Mason, that's where I wanted for him to go. And from here on out, he can take it for what it is. And if any other rally rider or person wants to get into rally and give it a go, I'll do the same for them too. Like, that's my whole goal behind this. Yeah, I want to have success, but my love and my joy for this area of the sport, I just want to, make it more obtainable for other people.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer and contains a lot of insight. And I think you have opened doors certainly for Mason Klein. I'm sure both of you might be opening doors in the future. You've really introduced not just myself, I'm sure a lot of other people in America to rally, you and Ricky and Mason, and all the success that you're having. So we certainly wish you a lot of success in the future. Good luck in Abu Dhabi and the rest of the season. And thanks for being here, Skyler.
Cool. Thank you very much.